Hey, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Brooke, and today we're going to be talking about my Epipremnum albo. And it's kind of a sad day. It's not just kind of a sad day. It is a sad day because it's a sad plant as of today. I'm going to be walking you through kind of my care points for this plant. And of course, my cat is here. This is Bo. Hello, and goodbye now. But I'm going to be walking you through my care tips for this plant and sharing my experience with it. It is actually one of my favorite plants, and it is a real bummer because, as I'll get into it later on in the video, it has a pest issue, and unfortunately it took a large chunk out of it. So we're going to be restarting the plant completely, and if you hear anything in the background, my children are playing with bouncy balls, so it's very entertaining. If you are new here, make sure to subscribe to this channel so you can be up to date on all my latest videos. And if you are a recurring viewer, thank you so much for coming back and watching another video. So today we're talking about my Epipremnum albo. I have had this plant, I think I've had it for about 2 years. I'll put the date stamp here and a photo of it when I first got it because it was in a small 4-inch pot. And it has since grown to this very large and beautiful and actually matured leaf with its fenestrations, and maybe I'll share a close-up because it's a lot easier. I purchased 2 of them. I actually found 2 of them for a reasonable cost around the same time, and I just decided to put them on a makeshift moss pole, which was chicken wire. Not a good idea, but it started out that way, and they immediately took to the moss pole and grew. I will tell you, this is probably one of the best plants I have as far as taking to the moss pole and growing on it out of the rest of the plants that I have on moss poles. I don't keep up the watering as much as I should, I'll be honest. And so the fact that this has taken in so well, and I'll show some video footage of it, is really awesome. And so I highly suggest this. If you want a rare plant, an albo plant, start out with the Epipremnum albo. It is a great plant. It's beautiful, easy to grow, and really easy to size up. Now, this plant does sit in my southwest facing window in my bedroom and gets a lot of sunlight throughout the day. Now, I do not have any grow lights. It's never been under grow lights. It's always been in that one spot. And so I think that that is lighting, its consistency is key. And you will obviously hear that when I talk about it, all my plants in my videos. Lighting is key. And in order to grow a plant well and like this, you need good light. And so again, it sits by a southwest facing window. It has not moved in its entirety of me owning it. Now, I have put one other or 2 other. No, I've extended this moss pole once. So here was the original moss pole, and then up is the new moss pole that I put on it. And I do have videos about it. Now, I have actually propagated this guy several times by wet stick propagation method, which means you just take a cutting and has no leaves on it and put it in perlite here, and it will grow. And I have some examples of that here because it's really fascinating to see that. And it is a successful propagation method for this. I've only had about 3 plants be successful in this. My Epipremnum albo, my Esqueleto monstera, and my Stanleyana monstera. They all took really well. And so all of these are wet stick propagations, which I will be showing how to do that here. But these are all from it and are already growing little babies. Now, this does take months and months to grow, I will be honest, but it is well worth it. So these are some Stanleyana albo cuttings. I'm going to transfer all of these into this new tub here, and when I take them off of this plant right here. Now, what happened with this plant? So you can see at the top of the video here that we have some yellowing leaves. Unfortunately, I went on vacation and I came back and found that my Monstera deliciosa and my Ficus lyrata had thrips. And I have video footage of this. I'll share that here. Now, this plant was standing right next to them, and while the other plants in my collection didn't look like it had been harmed, including this one, about a couple days later, I started to notice that all of these yellowing leaves were happening. And it's not just yellowing that is like the key to it being a thrips issue. It's the fact that they are also like this coppery tone, and you can tell that the chlorophyll, the green part, has been sucked out. And so I started noticing that, and I was like, cool, it's thrips. And so I am going to be chopping this back and propagating what I can in wet stick propagation method, or just a normal propagation method through water, sphagnum moss, whatever you prefer. But yeah, it's kind of disappointing. So you can see here, there is a lot missing from this that I'm going to have to take off. So again, these are 2 vines. This is on, I think, 1.5 vines, if that makes sense. There's like, it's the top portion that it like really attacked. And the bottom portion is totally fine. So we're going to be chopping that up. And I realize that this video is it's too tall for this video. So I might have to change spaces so you can see all of this. Okay, so now you can see the full plant. So you can see here all these yellowing leaves right here. We're chopping those off. We're saying goodbye to them. So this is fully rooted in several places, actually. I'll bring it closer. Right there. See that root? Goes all the way back there. And then down here, it's rooting in there, and it's rooted in all right here. You can see that all to the other side as well. Where did it? Yes, sir. Yes, 1 second, please. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing is just taking off these little clips and chopping it all the way back. This leaf is already yellowing off, and so I'm just going to chop it all the way down to the stem. Yep, I'm just cutting it bare. We're just going all the way back. And it's a bummer because this is incredibly rooted in right here. And so I'm either going to have to cut that off or pull it out, which is going to be hard. Wow, it is rooted all the way down into the pot. So we're chopping that root off because there is no possibility of me getting that out of the pot. Maybe this is a watering issue. I don't know. Oh my gosh. This is like, oh, I can't see. Golly. Okay. Actually, now that I see this, I think it is a watering issue, and maybe it could just be thrips as well, because there were copper tones on this. But now that I'm looking at it more, it's just the one vine. I thought it was both vines that were having the issue. And I mean, you can see it here, the yellowing. And so I'm not really sure. I did trade it for Pest. This side looks a lot better, like this whole vine. But this vine looks just completely sad and decrepit. Now, I'm going to be real honest with you. See this? How brown it is and how that just like completely broke. That is what I consider corking, and it's when the stem just hardens off. And in my experience, when I have tried to propagate like plants that have that corking that literally just break like that, super brittle, it does not work. It actually dies. And so I don't think I'm going to be able to salvage any of this below here. And I'm just going to have to start right here from where the green is. So this part is still green and fresh. This part you can see is brown and super, yeah. So that's kind of a bummer, but we're going to start it from this and see what we can get off of it. So I have 3 cuttings that I will take. This now is a possibility of a wet stick, but I don't think anything's going to come from it because it also is that hard. You can tell it's a little bit corked, but we're going to try these guys and see what we can do from there because it's so pretty. Look at that. Like they had the beautiful fenestrations. This guy was looking really good. This is the newest leaf. So I'm going to stick all of these in water. In my experience though, I have had a slow process of propagating these guys just in water alone. So it's what I'm going to have to do right now, but it is a slow process I have found. So for right now, I'm sticking them in my greenhouse cabinet along with this cut burley marks, and I'm just going to stick them in this water. Now I'll fill this with water after this video. I need to fill that with water and get a bigger vessel. Okay, as for this plant, so this leaf is yellowing. I'm taking it off. Sorry, I don't keep them. I kind of want to chop it back just because, kind of refresh it, but what do? This plant down here looks beautiful. It's where I think I cut another plant. I think I cut it because this is the mother vine right here. And I think I chopped it at one point, and this is all the new growth from it. So that looks beautiful. Excuse me, cat. Can you go down? Same for this guy right here. I cut this this one right here, and this is the newest stem that grew from that. It's really little and it doesn't go up as far. I cut it right there as well. Ooh, right there as well. So I've chopped this guy several times. What should I do? So should I just leave it like that? Maybe I'll just leave it like that. The sad part about the one that died off is it had my best variegation. Yeah, it was all like the beautiful white pieces. This is all majority green, which is a bummer. Like this stuff down here is like pretty white. I have noticed that if you want the variegation, the white variegation in it, you need to keep it by a high light source. If you take it out of the lower light source situation, it's just going to turn green and be very dull. So the back, this is the back. That's what was facing away from the light. The white part, that was facing towards the light. I think we're just going to go with that. So I think we're just going to go with that for now and call it. I'm going to keep it as is like this and just let it regrow. It is a quick grower. It's a prolific grower, and that's why I love this plant too, is it's very rewarding in a short amount of time versus a lot of my plants. They take a lot of time to grow, and I mean, that's just realistic plants. But this plant grew really quickly, and so it is a very big bummer to see that. So I think this is a watering / pest issue, okay? If I'm being honest. I think that for some reason this vine just died off, or the plant or the pest just ate it, because I know that there were thrips. There was signs and evidence on my Monstera and my Lorata, but again, this one didn't show any signs of pests. Like it was doing fine, and then next day I looked at it and it was just done for some reason. But I don't see any evidence of pests. I have sprayed it off and sprayed it with Jack's Dead Bug Brew, which if you do run into a thrips issue is a great pest control. But I'm not really sure. So this one might remain a mystery. I'm going to say that I probably just ended up killing this plant. Yikes, which is not awesome to say. That was it. I'm going to do that. And then the good news is I do have, again, these propagations in here from wet sticks that I have taken, and I'm going to transfer them into my moss or my perlite here. So again, I don't have any examples to show you from this plant. I will show you on this as a false one, but you would just take off a leaf if you didn't, and see that there are these nodes right here and right here, just like you were taking a propagation or like cutting it to propagate it. You just take that, you would stick this part in the perlite, cover it up, and just leave it for like 6 months, and the growth should start. It's actually not yours. This is after months and months in here, and I'll show you the roots because these plants are growing really well. This is an Esqueleto and an Epipremnum Albo. I'm trying to get it out though. I have found that perlite roots the best. Look at those. That's a really good root system right there. Roots the best for me in my plants, and this is evidence. This is so good. So this is one wet stick propagation from a Monstera Esqueleto. And then this, actually there's two. I don't know what this is. It has a tiny leaf growing off, you can see there. And then this beautiful little baby Epipremnum Albo. Look at that. So these honestly probably should be taken out of this and cut or potted up, not cut up, potted up. And I guess I could do that, but I don't really want to do that right now. So we're just going to stick them back in a perlite and growing environment. And eventually maybe I'll pop this one up with the smother. This one has some rotted parts that I need to take off, but that's okay because it has completely new roots there. Then I have some other cuttings here. These are from my Monstera Stanleyana that are adorable. They were wet stick propagations that I'm going to put in this as well. Just kind of got tired of all these random propagation vessels sitting around. But if you do want to do this, it is important to keep your rooting or your cuttings covered for a very long while until they finally root and get established more. Until then, you want to keep that moisture and humidity level in. You don't want any of it seeping out. But here's a good example of this wet stick. I took this cutting and a little leaf has grown from it. Then this is a really pretty one. So I'm just going to stick these guys in there, let them continue growing, and call it a day. I am bummed about my plant. Pretty sure I killed it. And yep, that's an unfortunate part about having plants, I guess. You kill them sometimes. Well, that was really it. That was pretty uneventful because I thought I was going to have a major like pest issue to take care of and cutting up and chopping and things, but in reality, I can't do that, and don't think it is. Let me know in the comments if you think I killed the plant or if it was a pest issue. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.